being an entrepreneur, because it is a special lifestyle. So, I mean, you live this life quite some years right now. How would you compare the entrepreneurship lifestyle versus the ones you're seeing maybe friends having in the corporate world? Because I'm pretty sure many people find your journey inspiring and are thinking about, should I jump out? Should I join a company, a startup, etc.? What is sort of your general view on the entrepreneurship path, which obviously comes with a bit more volatility in life? Things go up and down a bit more, but how is your general sense on the lifestyle you get as an entrepreneur?
So I think, like, if we speak about the three dimensions of the person, like you have like this more extrinsic part, and it's like about being able to make good in the world. So shipping is the backbone of the global economy. And I cannot imagine any better industry to go there, step inside and generate impact. Obviously, in my case, sustainability is something that really concerned me. So being able to be involved in a sustainable solution is something very, very exciting. So then you have this more intrinsic part, so the growth that you are experimenting, no? So that's something that I would have not been able to really in the same amount of time to experience. So shipping, something that I love about is that it's global. And because it's global, you're able to meet people. Like today, I'm talking with you, and maybe I wouldn't have been able to meet you even if I would have stepped inside the shipping industry in a very big company, because I mean, what would I be doing here? So the thing is, I'm meeting people all around the world, not only about the related to the shipping industry, but related to entrepreneurship and sustainability, energy segment, healthcare too. So that's a very vibrant community, like that's built in Europe, also in the US, and like widening my relationships, also like pushing me towards the limit, because here, if you make something and it wasn't a good decision, you will see it the next day or immediately. If you're in a big company and you take a decision, it will be hard until you make the decision. It will take time, but when you take it, sometimes you're not able to see the impact. So you're not learning. So the next time you might take the same decision or not, but you will not take it with previous information. So you're not growing professionally, but neither personally. And I think here another thing is like being able to be from the very beginning, from idea to reality. So we were just three ourselves, started building the team, closing agreements, started selling. Like, I'm involved in all areas. I abandoned more the technical part a lot of years ago, but in the rest, I'm very involved, like raising funds. That's something I would not have experienced as an engineer by itself, like speaking all around the world in the European Union, in the COP24 too. I mean, that's something like very, very exciting too. So I would say, like, if you have the opportunity to step inside a company, either fund it or just join a company with whom you share the same vision and the same like values, I think it's a very good opportunity for your personal and professional growth, for sure.
I couldn't agree more. And I also read that you have a deep passion about, sharing this knowledge to other people and sort of being a mentor to other people coming up. How have you find that, the ability to pay it forward to other and also be available for, younger generation or younger people who want to, learn more about, this lifestyle, basically?
So yeah, I'm involved like in two ways, more in the gender equality, if you would name it that way, because I think that I was very fortunate to be raised in a family that really empowered me to do whatever I wanted. I did not realize that as a woman, I had some maybe problems in the corporate world and so on, until I stepped inside the corporate world, because I was like in my small shell, being very empowered by my family. And then laterwards, I realized that there were a lot of problems. I saw in university that we were only 10% of the class was female. So if I want to change things, I have to be there too. So I have to give to the world what I have received also from the world, which is this empowerment. So I remember last week going to a class of 120 girls. I think they were like around 15, 14 years old, and speaking about the shipping industry and the technology, and really telling them that if they wanted, they could become engineers, that they could also be involved in technology while being in business too, like explaining what my experience. I think we all have to do this. Like for society, it's like our duty to really bring something to the table. And then also I'm involved in more the entrepreneurial part. So I think we've been helped by a lot of people throughout the way, without any other interest than to help and to help us grow. And that is something that I also want to pay back to the next people that are launching their company. So I'm also very happy to talk with people and help them as much as I can. And also I would say that I learn a lot from those conversations. So I'm very involved in like a lot of communities in the entrepreneurial like type of programs, and we help us a lot. Like, hey, you should look at that. Maybe I could approach you to this person, and that's also very good too. So it's about helping us each other to build a better world.
It's very good. I think it's super important, the job you do, because role models matters a lot, right? So if you're young and you can look up to someone and also, get to know them, that's usually super helpful. I had one a story I found doing the research, which I thought was interesting to ask you about, because it shows at least a big bias towards action. It was something about a pastry story where we basically had this project of learning how to become great at pastries. Do you mind telling that story?
So that's something very special for me. So I had like a very bad moment in my life while I was studying university. I lost the person that I loved the most. She died. And I found in pastry, like it was like doing yoga or something. It was my moment, and the way I put all my energy, bad and good, there. So when I finished my studies, before launching Bound for Blue, I had the opportunity to work with the best pastry chef in the world. That everything I learned was from him. And it was very cool because it was like experiencing what I loved, also because I loved art. And for me, pastry is a way of doing art. He did he was the best. So he did very fancy things, but very like chemistry and going to the limit to the formulation. Like it was very cool to be with him, and very, very, very nice the way he empowered the team to, I learned a lot about like teamwork there, and not only about pastry. So for me, pastry is something very special. As I mentioned before, I love art. Pastry is a way of doing art, and also a way of doing good in the world. So sometimes people tend to think, I was speaking with some university students yesterday at like a conference that they asked me to deliver, and they think that engineering is the only way, or technology is the only way to do good in the world. And I would say that even pastry, you're able to be in the best moments of people in their lives, and be there in some way, with them, with the sweet pastry. So I think it's also a good way of doing things, like a more healthy food to eat, really this innovation behind building good teams and sustainable, in the end, so solutions, business, and so on. So yeah, it was very nice for me to be part of that. I moved to Bound for Blue. Obviously, that was my dream. But it was a very good experience, and I learned a lot, not only about pastry, a lot.
Yeah, but I think the interesting part of that story as well is that you can learn so much, you can learn a lot from different industries as well, right? You don't have to be so sector specific your whole life. Usually there's great, lessons learned in other industries as well, especially those who try to really put things at the high level. So I think that's also, a great advice for other people to try out and experiment, because you can learn so many new things that you didn't envision before, you entered a new field, right?
That's basically, I would say, the thing in common about pastry and Bound for Blue. If you go to pastry, everyone is doing always the same recipes, like French recipes with a lot of butter and sugar, and it's very conservative in that sense. We're doing business as usual. You mean? And when you're going to shipping, it's like, okay, we burn fuel, we deliver the goods, here's how the operation goes. And maybe disrupting an industry, they were disrupting the pastry sector, and we were coming also to disrupt a little bit too, by maybe I said a little bit because sailing was used centuries ago, but bringing new technology to, and breaking how things have been done throughout the last years. So yeah, I think that's something very nice to really like.
Definitely. Christina, there was only one question I asked you to prepare, so I'll ask it at the end. I asked about your favorite book you read. Did you come up with a great answer to the audience?
Not that great. I love reading. So throughout these 2 years with the master's, I've been doing a master's on the weekends. I've read a lot of business books. So I finished like around 2 months ago. And the last book I read, which was very nice, was in Spanish, El hombre en busca de la felicidad. So in English, The Man in Search of Meaning, or yeah. So it's from Victor Frank, and it's about the Holocaust and in Auschwitz. And it's about how you really, as a person, you can do, it's not about the circumstances that that surround you that make you do the things that you do. It's about you yourself being on top of these circumstances and really moving forward. So it's more about psychology, and it's very, I wouldn't say nice, it's very hard to read, but I think that the meaning that you get behind, it's very nice, and that you can apply it on your daily life. And right now I'm reading The Courage to be Disliked. I'm reading it in Spanish, but it's in English too, this book. And it's like a Socratic dialogue between like a young person and what's the name? Philosopher. So they're going throughout a lot of like philosophy theories like Freud and like Alfred Adler, and like they're setting some questions for the reader to solve in their daily life too. It's like it's nice. I'm liking it, that one. So I wouldn't choose one book because I think that life is too long to have just one favorite book, but I would recommend those. Yeah, for sure.
Hi everyone. I hope you enjoyed this episode and that you learned something new. If you like this content, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. See you later.